There are many ways to share documents inside of Google Drive, so I want to take you through the process of sharing both files as well as folders in this video. So we're going to start off here in Google Drive, and I'm going to expand and come down here to Google Class. Just click on Classroom here. So you notice I have 3 files in here that I am actually sharing right now. You can see that I'm sharing these because you see the little icon inside of the folder. I also know I'm sharing these because I have this icon right here. So these are all being shared with myself as well as student 1 through 6, it looks like. So let's come down to a file down here, or a folder, excuse me, down here that I know is not being shared. And let's take a look and see if we can't figure out how to share this. So I'm going to start with a document here. So this is a 5E's lesson plan. Remember, this is from the previous lesson where I've got a Word file here, something unconverted, and I've got the same document here that's been converted to a Google Drive or Google Doc format. So let's show you how you can share this document here. Now, there are a couple ways you can do it. We can come over here to this share icon right here, or we can come over here and just right click and click on share. So we come out here. Now there's a couple ways that we can do this. First off, if I know who I want to share this with, for example, I want to share this with my personal self, so Jeff at Cruiser Tech, I can click on that and I can then add a note. Here you go. Okay. Now, the other thing that you need to pay attention to is this icon right here. So because this is a document, I've got 3 choices. I can edit, I can comment, or I can view. Now let me just tell you the differences. If I click on view, that means I can go in, if I send this link to myself and I go into my personal account and open it, then I can read the document, go through the document, read it, but that's it. If I set it to comment, what you notice the icon changes here, is I can actually make comments about it. So it puts these little comments off to the right side that the editor or the original person who wrote the document can look at and either choose to accept or respond to, those types of things. The last piece is edit here, and when I select edit, basically what it does is it allows this person I'm sharing with to edit this document, so they can go in and make any kind of changes they want to this document. Now if I click on send right here, what you'll notice is that's going to take and it's going to say, hey, you're sharing this outside of your G Suite organization. So if you are inside of an organization and you're trying to share it with somebody outside, it's going to give you this message here. I click on yes, and it's going to send an email to my personal self. And you also should note that there's a little sharing icon here that shows up now, indicating that this document has been shared with somebody. Let's do the same thing we just did, except this time we're going to do it with a folder, because I want you to note that there are a couple differences here. So I have this August Institute folder here, and again, I can right click or I can take and click on this August Institute piece here. So I'm just going to select share again, and I'm going to go ahead and select my personal self here one more time. And notice now when I click over here, I only have 2 choices. I can organize, add, and edit to this folder, or I can view only. Now if I view only, what it basically is saying is that I can actually get in and I can look at any document, any file within this folder, but all I can do is view it. If I give editing rights to my personal self, basically what it's saying is that I can organize, I can add documents to this folder, and I can edit any documents inside this folder. So it's really important that you note that there is a major difference between the folders and documents because of what you can do with the sharing piece right here. So I click on send. That's going to again prompt me, are you sure you want to do this? I'm going to click on yes, and that's going to then send that off. Now a couple other parts here that we can talk about in terms of sharing. One, if I just want to share it with somebody and I don't really know their email, they're not part of my domain, what I can do is I can come over here and I can say get a shareable link. And what that does, and I turn this on, what that does is it gives me the opportunity to share this icon, this link right here with anybody in the world. Now right now my settings are such that anybody at Beyond the Chalk can view. So if I only want to share this within outside my domain, with inside Beyond the Chalk, I would leave these settings here. However, if I want to allow somebody outside of Beyond the Chalk to view this, then what I can do is I can click on this little icon here right now. It says More. I can come down to More, and I can say on for anyone who has the link. So I'm not doing it through Beyond the Chalk, which these two reference. I'm actually allowing somebody outside to have access to that. And you notice my access here is can view. I can actually change that if I'd like. If I don't know somebody's email and I want them to be able to edit this, I can actually change it down here to show that they have or to change the ability for them to edit or comment as well. You got to be careful about that, because anyone that has the link then can get in and edit your document. One of the other things you might want to note here is this also allows me to make it public on the web, so anyone on the internet can find and access. It's a little bit tough to do this, but if you want everybody to be able to access this, you can click on this. Now, one thing that I would say is make sure this is set to view only, because you certainly don't want to put that out onto the web if people have editing rights. So once I'm done, so I'm going to come back to here, say yes, I'm only going to allow them to view. I click on Save, and that then allows me to create this file to be shared with anybody that has a link. And now, again, if I get that shareable link, I click on this, I copy it, I can paste it into an email, on a web page, anything, and now anybody who clicks on that does not have to have specific permission to share that. Let's go back to the folder here. I want to show you one other thing here with the sharing. I'm going to come back to share. Now I can enter individual names if I'd like, and so I could go ahead and enter in, say, let's say Dean is going to be part of this now, and I can add a note here. And let's just say I want to give lots of people access, but I also want to turn that access or change that access for certain people. So notice down here in the bottom right, I have an advanced item here, and this gives me a little bit more detail for the individuals that have access. So notice that I'm the owner, right? And my personal self here is I have editing rights, and I don't want my personal self to have editing rights, so I'm going to just go ahead and get him a view only there, and I need to save those changes. Now I'm going to take Dean out, and I'm going to go ahead and type in students. So remember, we set up a contact group. This is again where those contact groups become very powerful. If I click on students, it's going to bring that contact group in, and it's going to allow me to share it with all 6 of those people all at once. I don't have to put student 1, student 2, student 3. And I'm just going to set that to view only currently, and I am going to go ahead and send that message there. Now what you're going to notice is that now I have these different individuals here that can share or that can see this document. And notice that everybody in this document is a view only, right? So what if I want student 4 to be able to edit? Well, I can go to each individual person now. Student 4 and student 6, they have editing rights. And so I can turn those or toggle those on and off there as I need to in order to create that sharing scenario that I need to have. So click on Save Changes, click on Done. And now everybody in August Institute here has the ability to, or that I've set up has the ability. And again, if I double click on August Institute, what you'll notice is that when I hover over this icon, it tells me exactly who has permission to do what. So these are the view only. These are the editing pieces right here. And if I need to get back into my sharing settings and I need to change anything, I just click right here and I can get right back to this. So that's sharing kind of in a nutshell. Hopefully that helps you to be more efficient in how you work with your colleagues within the Google environment.